The topic in this video is probably one of the most important one when we talk about negotiation, and that is preparation. A lot of negotiations are happening like you can see on this picture up here. We have soldiers in a ditch pointing the rifle towards each other, so they're not working together, they're working against each other. And very often the reason that we see this approach is not because it's a conscious choice, but in lots of cases it's actually based on a lack of preparation. So when we are talking about preparation, it's really down to identifying our SAM model, the strategy assessment matrix. We need to identify who is it we want to work with, how do we want to work with that counterpart that we want to work with, and how do they actually perceive us, and how do they want to work with us. If you look at the vertical scale on this one, that shows the counterpart's interest in us. So the higher we go on the vertical line, the more important we might be for the counterpart, and obviously the lower we are on the vertical line, the less important we are to the counterpart. If you look at the horizontal line, that really shows how important is the counterpart to us. So the further we go out to the right, the more important the counterpart will be for us. And the more we go to the left, the less important the counterpart might be for us. So if you look at the low impact, low risk, the down left quadrant, we will see obviously that we have no real value in each other. We may not be very important to each other. There could be lots of alternative choices. So if we end up with a counterpart down there and we can identify that's their view of us and it's our view of them, obviously we should constantly choose zero sum. On the other hand, if we end up on the right quadrant in the top saying high impact, high risk, we are very important to the counterpart, and the counterpart is very important to us. If we are in that quadrant, we should use smartership. Not using smartership up there is just utterly stupidity. Unfortunately, I see lots of cases where people are in that quadrant, they're equally important to each other, but they still end up in zero sum. So when we talk about preparation, there's a lot of items we need to identify to prepare, but I've just listed the essential 11 points that are crucial. In the negotiation manual, chapter 2, you'll see the whole list of items that are crucial to prepare, but I'll just list the 11 points. One of the first one is getting acquainted with the counterpart's interest, values, and situation. Where they're coming from, what is it they want to achieve, and what is their cost and benefits. Avoid time pressure. Time is negotiable. So if somebody's telling you we need your proposal within 2 days, why not start negotiating already there? Why 2 days? Why not 5 days? What happens if we could give it to you this afternoon? So on and so forth. Casting of roles, we need to negotiate as a team. We need a head of the negotiation team, we need a calculator, and we need a note taker. That is essential for success in negotiation. Then we need to be ready to expect the unexpected, because that's going to happen in a real life negotiation. The counterpart is going to say or do something that we couldn't predict, we couldn't prepare, regardless whether we've been sitting preparing for months. So we need to have an alternative plan of strategy then. Then we also need to understand how important is this negotiation. And remember, a successful negotiation could be one where you don't actually achieve a result. So not achieving an agreement could be successful if achieving an agreement would be worse than not achieving one, obviously. Then you need an overview of all quotation and alternative, and that means a list of the variables, everything that is negotiable. And please remember, very often we can negotiate on more variables than we immediately think we can. So think about everything you can negotiate on. That could be price, delivery time, uptime, quality, education, you name it. There could be hundreds and hundreds of variables. And then please remember, look at the big picture, not at the detail. The more successful negotiator, look at the whole picture. You need an agenda, both in your preparation and when you conduct negotiation with your counterpart. You need your objective. What is your target? So please remember what we've been talking about earlier. Starting point, threshold of pain, and target. It is essential. And regardless what side of the table you might be on, you need to be very active making bids and use the bargaining phase. And last but not least, back to the strategy assessment matrix I just showed you, you need to plan and coordinate your strategy. How do you want to conduct your negotiation?